Blog Talk Radio. Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Franchise Interviews. For over 6 years, Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship. Listen to interviews with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys. And now, welcome your host, Marty McDermott, and Franchise Interviews.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 6 years now, we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, and I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and we have a great show today. We're meeting with the founder of French Fry Heaven, Scott Nelowet. And headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida, French Fry Heaven was created in 2010 by Scott and is the first and leader in the gourmet fry market. We're going to talk to Scott about that in just a moment on Franchise Interviews. So stick around because we got a great show.
Are you one of those special people who are willing to go after your dreams and goals? Are you ready to fulfill that dream of owning your own business with the security of a proven brand? The opportunity to take control of your future and own a Rita's Italian Ice franchise is within your reach.
Rita's is seeking success-oriented individuals who are ready to make a change in their life, and Rita's offers unparalleled training and support to assure your success. And did you know the frozen treat industry is a recession-proof industry, and there are Rita's in 23 states currently with 540 stores open. Rita's Italian Ice has been around for 25 years and is listed as a top-performing franchise by the Wall Street Journal.
Now here's the really good part. Rita's Italian Ice is a unique and amazing taste treat. It's smoother than a snow cone, and it combines ice with real fresh fruit. The real fruit adds dramatically to the taste, and it comes in over 40 flavors. The ice and fruit are mixed on site and made fresh daily, and it is delicious.
You'll want to know more about this exciting and successful franchise opportunity. Go to www.ownaritas.com and get all your questions answered. That's www.ownaritas.com to take control of your dreams and future today. You don't want to wait any longer to be a part of this adventure. www.ownaritas.com.
Are you looking for a franchise that delivers? Businesses will always need shipping, and for more than 25 years, loyal customers have depended on Unishippers for reliable savings and exceptional customer service. Unishippers is focused on just one thing, helping small and medium-sized businesses save time and money on all their shipping needs. And as the largest reseller of complete shipping services in the country, we have the buying power to ensure that we succeed. The Unishippers franchise offers low startup costs, no equipment or real estate required because they're not retail, residual income, and a quality of life and work-life balance. For more information on becoming a Unishippers franchisee, go to www.unishippers.com and click Franchise Opportunities or call Franchise Development at 801-708-5822. That's 801-708-5822.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 6 years now, we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and as we were saying earlier, we have a great show today. We're meeting with the founder of French Fry Heaven, Scott Nelowet, and headquartered in Jacksonville, Florida. French Fry Heaven was created in 2010 by Scott and is the first and leader in the gourmet fry market. Hey, Scott, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Doing great, thank you. Appreciate you having me.
It's our pleasure, Scott. These shows are a bit tough, doing a little before lunch, so go light today in your description of your product. I was on the website, and I was like, oh, my God, it looks fantastic. I thought, maybe we could start off where you're calling from today, Scott.
Well, I'm calling from Jacksonville, Florida, and here's the good news, is that we're not targeting the lunch times. You can go ahead and get lunch wherever you like. What we wanted everything that led up to lunch, everything after lunch, and everything after dinner.
Yeah,
so
that's fantastic. That's great. And I see you're coming. You're not going to be far from our area soon. We're in Pennsylvania, where the studio is, and I see it looks like you're going to be hitting New Jersey soon. So that's great news.
And Pennsylvania, and Boston, New York, New Hampshire, and Texas, and Louisiana, Ohio.
That's fantastic.
Growing like I don't know, potatoes in the field.
That's great. That's great. There's always a story. We've been doing this show now, Scott, for 6 years, and we've always find that there's a story behind every franchise, and you're the founder of the company, so of course you were there when it all happened. I thought maybe you can talk a little bit about the history of French Fry Heaven.
Sure, love to, Marty. My background was working as a college president, college administration for about 20 years. And really reached a point of what I call maximum boredom, where I just knew my job so well, I just had to do something else.
Right.
And my wife and I were taking my parents to Europe for their 50th wedding anniversary. And we set a goal while we were there. Goal number one, of course, make sure my parents had a great time, which they did. Goal number two, find something that Europeans were doing well that we could transplant back here to the States.
Right.
And when we got to Northern Europe, there were fry-only stands literally everywhere we went. There was a guy in a corner, or some people in an alleyway, or actual companies that do it. But it was just ubiquitous. It's everywhere you go there.
Right.
So much so that when I did research, there's more fry-only places in that part of Europe than there are of McDonald's in the U.S.
Wow.
So to give you an idea of how popular it is. So we came back. 2 weeks after we got back, a buddy of mine convinced me to show up at a festival. It was a vegan festival, so we've always been health oriented. So we showed up at that festival and served some fries. It knocked it out of the park, and the rest is kind of unwritten history. We traveled the festival circuit and eventually opened up our first store.
That's fantastic. You mentioned too about having a healthier option, and I think that's certainly what's different here, Scott. I thought maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, that first festival we did was a vegan festival, and we went there. We had to be very disciplined. They didn't want meat. They wanted, there's certain ways of preparing things that we had to follow the steps, and we really would adhere to that as best we could. And so we've kind of kept that mentality all throughout what we've done. So we've got, for instance, allergen-free fries. Most normal potato fries are allergen-free. Most sweet potatoes are not. We actually happen to have one of the only 2 sweet potatoes in the entire world that are not allergen, that have no allergens. All of our sauces start out with a 0 trans fat base. All of our fries are 0 trans fat. Our oil is 0 trans fat, lowest saturated fat possible. And oils. I mean, really, we cover the bases. No GMO, no MSG. I mean, all these things that may not be a big deal for everybody, but they're a big deal for enough of us, and should be, that we try and cover those bases as well, so people can enjoy. It's not perfect. It's a perfect little diet sheet.
Right.
But at the same time, we still want it to be as helpful as is humanly possible. That's
fantastic. How many flavors are you guys up to at this point, Scott?
We have over 50-plus flavors of fries. We have, and this is the part you didn't want to hear, but we have garlic parmesan with the black truffle salt, and we have the Cajun fries with the remoulade sauce. We have steakhouse, which is a au jus and pepper steak sauce. We have we go all over the place. We have a cheeseburger, which tastes exactly like a cheeseburger, yet uses no beef flavor. It's exactly like a cheeseburger.
That's incredible.
Potato, and we've got sweet potato fries that taste like funnel cake, and ones that taste like pumpkin pie.
That's amazing. What's your favorite?
Did that help your appetite?
Yeah, it does. It's killing me, but what's your favorite, Scott? Do you have a favorite out of all the different flavors?
I'll tell you, my favorites are really, any of the fries are solid. I'm a particularly, having lived in New Orleans for a bunch of years, so the Cajun fries with the remoulade sauce are my favorites. But my favorite are, we have all these ethereal salts or sea salt that you can add on top of anything. And one of my favorites is this. We have a ghost pepper salt, which is the hottest salt in the world. And so what I like to do with it is, it really doesn't matter what fries I get. I add one of these ethereal salts to it and completely change the flavor. So ghost pepper is the one that I put on everything, just to take it to that 10th level.
That's fantastic. You know, you mentioned something interesting is you know, the United States has different taste buds, don't they? I mean, of course, in the South, you know, with like in Cajun, maybe a bit more. Is there that flexibility with franchises, Scott? I mean, as far as like, you know, will the flavors be different up in the Northeast versus down South? Is there that flexibility?
Great question. Flexibility is one of the key things with our franchise, but when you really target the flavors, everyone starts out with the same 21 what we call master flavors. Those are the flavors that we know have a universal appeal. Right. And then there's 3 flavors. Remember, I told you we have 50. So there's 3 of those 50 that will rotate every 3 months. There'll be a brand new flavor on your menu, you know, depending on which store you're in. And then franchisees can add to their menu from our 50, you know, as flavors show that they're popular. You know, they have, you know, that they have it maybe for a seasonal and it becomes a huge hit, and so they want it permanently on the menu. If it's allowed, or you know, they have a specific population. For instance, in Jacksonville, Florida, we have a large Indian population.
Right.
So we actually have a sauce called the India, which is a aloo chaat, chunky chaat, mashup, and our Indian customers go crazy for it. Now, I will tell you that most other cultures don't really like this flavor, but for the Indian customers, they go crazy for it. Similarly, we have a Latin flavor, which is a mayonnaise and chili, particular to that group, and you know we'll keep rotating like that. The whole beauty of French fry heaven, when we were in the research phase, we researched what was the most popular fry topping around the world for each and every country, and that's our list of 50. So we've got a tzatziki sauce, we've got a sweet chili sauce, we've got all kinds of stuff that's available out there.
That's fantastic. I bet too one day, Scott, that you're going to have a franchisee come up with a flavor as well, I suspect. You know, it's one of the great stories of McDonald's, you know, is that I think it was the filet of fish that actually came about from one of their franchisees, you know. So it's interesting, you know, where you are today and, you know, to talk to you maybe in 5 years and you know, talk about all the different flavors. It's going to be interesting. One of the questions we've been asking on the show over the last year specifically is about technology. And I learned recently that there's a new app for French Fry Heaven. I thought maybe you could talk a little bit about that and what that's been like.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you know, my background was in academia and education. So one of the things that I looked at was, okay, we're introducing a new mix to a new flavor to the market. You know, gourmet fries. Right. You know, there's not gourmet fry stands out there now. If I were introducing, you know, yogurt, pizza, burgers, well, there's 50,000 of those. So all I'd have to do is say, well, you know, I'm the guy that serves extra cheese, but you know, we're introducing a totally new genre here with the gourmet fry. So the question was, how do I introduce it to the marketplace? You know, marketing and branding are great. I can get the name out there, but how do I help people to understand what it is we're doing? Mm-hmm. So we came up with, I came up with this game app, and it's you can download it on iTunes. It's a French Fry Heaven game, and you play it by basically figuring out the character, matching the character to the type of fries, and then matching the ingredients for those fries together with the character, and that unlocks it. Wow. And so it's a simple little game, but at the tail end of it, what you'll come out of it with is, if I ask you, or supposedly if it works well, if it comes out of it, I say, what's in remoulade, you should say, well, that's, you know, a Cajun fry with a kind of a tomato and onion salsa, you know, mixed flavor. You know, it should have all those ingredients kind of blended together in your mind, and that's kind of the goal. I think the key thing is it's the stated goal of the game too. You know, it's one of the things with today's generation is they can smell BS a mile away, and so the stated goal of this game is match the character to the ingredients. We're not trying to slide anything by people, and that's where I think people will get themselves in trouble if they try and do the same thing we're doing, but they try and blow smoke over this generation's eyes. That's not going to work out. These are smart kids, you know, much sharper than probably you and I were when we were kids. They're just, you know, they can smell BS. And so you got to be honest with them. The whole point of this game is you learn the ingredients in my fries. Good. They
fantastic.
choose to play it that way. So
that's interesting. It's amazing what you can do with apps today, and how you use it towards your business and things like that. And of course, this is something that the franchisees are getting, aren't they? Is when they buy into your system. They don't have to rethink the wheel. Of course, how big is your industry? I guess it's a little tough, Scott, because what industry are you guys even part of?
And that's a good question. We're part of the snack industry. The snack industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. But the beauty of the snack industry is there's very few players. And so we're going after a market that doesn't have a lot of inhabitants. There are companies that tried this years ago. They tried to do fry only, and they did really, really well. They were booming. They were successful, and then they got greedy, and they decided to see if they could, add some lunch items like chicken, and dogs, and that's the menu. And what it does is that not only does it do zero for the franchisee's bottom line, that's all about the franchisor, but it also pulls them out of the snack market and puts them right into the meal market. So, for instance, right now, when you and I first talked at the beginning of this call, you said, "Oh, wow, it's going to make me hungry for lunch." Well, that's not our niche. That's not what we want to be. We want, when you get at lunch, go get the full works. Go get the sandwich and the sides and all that. But right now, while you're waiting for lunch, grab some fries. That'll carry you through from 10 o'clock till noon. And then once that lunch kind of processes through, we'll take care of you till dinner. And then after dinner, we own you. That's the market. I will tell you, if you put us in a late night spot, if you put us where there's beer drinking going on, we absolutely kill it. Teens, though, our number one target, though, teens, families, upscale females are a really huge market for us. So
I get it. Yeah, that's a great way, of describing it. I think that's fantastic. What's been one of the challenging questions for our guests is, what's been the most interesting thing that's happened to you since taking over as president for French Fry Heaven, Scott?
I'll tell you what was interesting. And I think, Marty, this really kind of gets to the heart of what you're doing on there. I think it sends a message to people, and it's a great message you're putting out there. I'll tell you the most interesting thing for me was when we went out looking for capital. It was right in the middle of recession. First off, everyone said, "Why are you starting a business in the middle of recession in the first place?" Right. And the thing I tell people all the time, if you're an entrepreneur or if you're a franchisee, no one's going to agree with your idea. Trust me. Right. When you first start out, not if you have one person that sides with you, good luck. You've done more than most. That's true. Right. But then I went out to get money, and I thought, well, there's no way you can get money out there, because that's what everyone says. You can't get money right now. Everyone says we're in a recession. Everyone says that money's cut off. Well, I had 5 different groups, bidding to give us money, give us millions. Wow. They were competing against it. Now, this is the lowest tech idea on the planet, right? Now, one of the advantages I did have is it's very, very easy to understand what we do. It's not a complex thing, so it's very easy. But the point was, there was so much money out there to draw from. And I think the fallacy out there that people have is that they can't, that there's a lack, that there's a can't, that there's a waiting period. Most of America is sitting on the sidelines. We were just at a franchise show, and I saw, not only obviously I think ours is a great franchise, but I saw some wonderful franchises out there. People doing really interesting stuff, and they've figured out ways of helping people get into the game, with finance and things like that. So they're ready to go. It's just a matter of, so why aren't people doing it? And people aren't doing it because they're waiting. They're waiting for the government to do something or somebody to do something for them. Well, it's not going to happen. None of that stuff happens. What happens is people like us get up and do stuff. We start franchises, we start businesses, we do it. And then we turn around and hire people, and then they have resources and so on and so forth. It's a great story. I love it, Scott, because, I'm a faculty advisor for this group called the Kaplan University Collegiate Entrepreneurs, and everyone's getting ready for this elevator pitch contest, and it's like you said, a lot of times people, aren't interested for the most part, and I think you probably knew, I suspect that you must have had something when you saw that interest, people coming forward saying, this is fantastic. I suspect anyway. Yeah, but I will tell you, I probably had just as many people say, "Oh, Fry."
Sure.
I remember a conversation I had with a guy. We sat down at dinner together. There was a group of us, and he was a very successful man, been owner of I think several hundred franchises of something. And he and I sat down, and then he asked me what I did, and he immediately, without using the word to use, said, "That can't work," and so many expletives after that. And then I started to explain it to him. He said, "Well, what about this? This is the reason it can't work." And I explained that reason, and we went around like this for an hour. And after about an hour, he grudgingly looked at me and said, "Yeah, that'll work."
You're right. Exactly.
So,
That's
but you have to. You can't go into it expecting people to embrace your idea, no matter how genius it is. But I tell you, that Kaplan elevator pitch contest.
Yes.
If you could spread the word, everyone's involved in that. That is not a joke, and that is not a let's win $50 sort of thing. That is the key. You have to understand. It's not about being able to explain your idea in 30 seconds.
Right.
It's about understanding your own idea well enough.
True.
That you can explain it in 30 seconds.
That's well said. I'm going to have to make everyone in the group listen to what you just said. I think that's fantastic, and I think that's very powerful. Absolutely, I agree with that. So what do you look for in your franchisees, Scott? I mean, what kind of characteristics are you looking for in your franchisees?
Well, I'll tell you, again, coming from a background, we've been kind of in a unique situation. Coming from a background well capitalized, it's allowed us to be a lot more relax, take our time with who we want to bring in. And we've passed most, and we've actually brought in 12 out of the 30 people that have gone all the way through the evaluation process. The kind of people we're looking for, obviously, ideally, you want people that have, background in food service. That's great, but it's not necessary. I didn't. But what we're looking for is happy people, got to be super energetic, super upbeat. They got to be aggressive. We want people that want to own their market. They want to dominate. We're not interested in people that just want to sit back passively and have things done for them. We want them to go out there aggressively and take their market. We want people that can follow procedures and understand a brand. That's the key with the franchise. Is it's a brand that you want to build, and so we give them lots of latitude to be creative in our franchise. Very unusual like that, but they also have to understand, look, there's a brand that we want to build here. We want to use those same graphics and those same words and those same phrases to make sure it gets out the message and do things right. One of the things that tests we do, and you can steal this if you like, but one of the things we do when we interview somebody is we make a mess somewhere near the interview area, and we just leave it there. And then we sit down very close to it and have a conversation with somebody. We're also looking for people that cannot stand the idea of being next to mess. So they'll clean it, they'll ask somebody to clean it, they'll do something, but they will not abide mess. And in food service, it's just got to be innate. It's just got to be someone that you just cannot stand to see mess. So all that put together, but I think for us, what's unusual about French Fry Heaven is our cornerstone is in charitable service, and we allow everybody to gather 1% of their revenue towards charitable service, and it becomes critically important that they be able to go out there. It doesn't matter what they do, it doesn't matter where they do it. It's just important that they do it. So. That's
great. What about the training? What's that like, Scott? Once you decide that, you say, okay, we like you, and they like you guys, and you decide that it's a match. What's the training like from that point?
Well, our training is split into a couple different pieces. 70% of it is online training.
Okay.
So everything we do is very technologically advanced. That's one of the things. Obviously, having money in the first place helps an awful lot. We've got systems set up that are most companies wouldn't have until they have 1,500 stores. So we're way ahead of the game. But the training we do is 70% online, very detailed, very organized, simple to follow. It's nice because when you go through the training yourself, and then later on you hire employees, or you have employees leave for some reason, instead of them coming back and you having to spend another 10, 20 hours retraining somebody, you just put them online and say, let us know when you get into our store, and you can we'll show you what stuff is in our store. So it makes it a lot easier. And then they do 3 days of live because no matter what, you've got to do some live hands-on stuff. it's fun. I mean, it's fun, you know, and we'll get better and better. The better we do, the more we'll turn things into games, things like that, because that's really the way people learn these days. So we'll turn everything into some sort of game app. So training can work the same way. Sorry.
Yeah. What's the ideal location, Scott? I mean, like, what do you look for in a location? Obviously, high traffic, I guess, but you know, how does that work?
Yeah, ours is all about foot traffic, and so we're pretty wide open. You know, one of the things that we don't want to do, we've got in our mission statement to be everywhere people are hungry, and the key with that is, you know, we are not a mall-only concept. You know, certainly we're open to that, but really our number one target, you know, you're talking about transportation hubs, you're talking about college campuses, military bases, casinos, bar rows are a great one. You know, you're in Philly or you're in Pennsylvania, and, you know, Philly South Street, you know, where you've got you know, a row of bars and not much else to choose from. I will tell you, late night, we allow people to open up what we call success hours, so they can be open different hours depending on what will be successful in their area. So if they're in a casino, maybe they'd be open 24 hours a day. We've got some folks looking at casinos in a couple different cities. If they were in a bar row, maybe they don't open up until 3, and then they stay open until 3 in the morning. Or if in the malls, they'll just go ahead and adhere to the mall groups. But there's all kinds of great foot traffic areas. I'll tell you, we've got a guy that's coming out of St. Augustine whose entire focus is tourist towns. Anywhere that there's some sort of tourist community. So he started in St. Augustine. He's looking at Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and Williamsburg, Virginia, and, you know, Disney and things like that. Anywhere that there's, you know, tourists go, that's where he's going to go. So, you know, some people are just dedicated to their hometown. So it's really wide open. It's the nice thing about what we do. We're a very small size. We can come in all forms: indoor, outdoor kiosks, mobile trucks, stores. You know, we've got all kinds of versions. So anywhere people are hungry, we can show up.
That's fantastic. So being that you're the founder of the company, I can ask you, I mean, where do you see the company maybe like 5 years down the road, Scott?
5 years down the road, we'll be 500 stores. We'll be across the country, and we'll be international as well. One of the unusual things about us is we've already got a national distribution set up, so we can distribute anywhere in the country that we need to, which is, you know, way advanced for where we should be. But you know, our restaurant guy Tony Tomzek has done a brilliant job with U.S. Foods, and they've got a great distribution system set up. Right. The other nice thing is our equipment company and our distribution and our recipe company are all poised to take us international very easily. It's not like if I were to try and take, you know, a TGI Fridays, which is a great company. I like TGI Fridays. Right. But I'm just for edification's sake, thinking of taking TGI Fridays to China, you know, you'd have to identify, you know, all the furnishings, the colors, the decor, the menus, all the different spices and toppings and in their case, and meats and cheeses and all the things you'd have to source. You know, it becomes a really challenging proposition. In our case, the sauces are proprietary bottled, so you need to source fries. That's it. And so fries are not the most difficult thing in the world to source. Right. That's fantastic. So it makes it a lot easier for us to go international too. So that's the goal. We 500 and international as well.
That's fantastic. What's the best way for our listeners to get more information, Scott, on becoming a franchisee? Should they just go right to the website? Any numbers they should call?
Yeah, I would have them go right to FrenchFryHeaven.com/franchise. So FrenchFryHeaven.com/franchise. Easiest way to go. Fantastic. It's got the phone number up there. It's got riveting videos of me.
I saw them. They're great videos. There's a lot of great information on that website. So I think it's fantastic. And I want to thank you again, Scott, for coming on the show. I think this is a fantastic franchise opportunity. I would like to already invite you back next year as you guys continue to go to grow. I'm going to keep my eyes on you.
Would love to do it and keep growing. 6 years, and you're going strong. So I appreciate all you do.
Thanks so much, Scott. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Scott.
Yeah. Sounds great. Thanks.
Franchisers, are you looking to reach aspiring entrepreneurs looking to buy a franchise? Are you looking to reach a highly educated audience on franchising? For over 4 years, Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get inside tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising. Check out our weekly franchise radio show, where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys, and our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. Get 3 months of free advertising when you sign up for our 1-year package. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919. That's 610-905-2919.
Need a business loan? Talk to Diamond Financial Services, the experts in franchise financing nationwide. Whether you're looking to start a franchise, acquire an existing franchise, or expand your territory through opening new locations, Diamond Financial stands by your side start to finish. From pre-qualification to packaging and presenting your application to securing a financial commitment and through the loan closing process, Diamond Financial is there. While you're waiting, thousands of others are making their financial dreams come true. Don't wait any longer. Pre-qualify now by completing a confidential, no-obligation financial analysis. Let's face it, traditional banks just aren't in the business of financing small business. At Diamond Financial, we specialize in securing franchise loans from $100,000 to $3 million and equipment leasing up to $150,000. Let us help you get started. Go to www.franchisefunding.net or call 877-508-2274. That's franchisefunding.net, 877-508-2274.
Hi everyone, this is Marty McDermott from Franchise Interviews, and welcome to another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising, where each podcast you get to hear a great quote in franchising. You know, Franchise Interviews has been hosting franchise interviews for almost 6 years now and almost 300 shows, and during that time we've had some incredible quotes on our show. Today you're going to get to hear from Art Collet, who is the president of Alpha Graphics, and Art has a wonderful quote. He says that franchising is one of the greatest inventions for small business, and he kind of expands why, so here we go.
Fantastic program. I mean, when I saw it, I said I thought this was very exciting for you guys, you know, and it's going to be interesting to watch it. I mean, it sounds like your franchise partners are certainly going to appreciate something like this, and I guess that's the benefit of getting into franchising as well, isn't it, Art? You know, is to, you know, have a program like this, you know, a very strong program that the franchisees can really benefit from.
Yeah, I tell you, Marty, you know, you said something earlier. You know, I was saying earlier about, you know, that nearly 10 years of restaurant ownership. Mm-hmm. There were months, Marty, and we were not a franchise. There were months, Marty, where I begged for somebody to send a royalty check to, because I thought, man, if somebody could bring me some turnkey marketing programs, if somebody could bring me some training solutions that were already ready to go for the employees and how to hire them and who's the right person, how to recruit them, if somebody could bring me a process for creating more traffic at my restaurant or operational workflow and checklist. Marty, I believe, you know, and I've had people, you know, great people like, you know, Bud Hadfield, and I can, you know, go down the list of just the names of people that have, you know, are in my cell phone that I can call anytime. I mean, John Luther over at Dunkin' Brands and Jim Amos, who, you know, led mailboxes, et cetera, and you know all these names. I think they I'm honored being on your show today, just knowing those guys.
Thank you.
People like that are people that you've interviewed. But you know, franchising, I believe, is the greatest invention for small business ownership.
Yeah.
Because franchising doesn't change the fact that you're still a small business owner.
Exactly.
All franchising should do, I mean, my job as president of Alpha Graphics is to take people who have decided they want to be a small business owner and they want to do it in this arena of providing visual communication solutions, whether that's some document solutions or marketing solutions. But my job as president of Alpha Graphics is just simply to take the hurdles that may be 6 feet high if you're out there on your own trying to do it yourself, and let's take them down to 6 inches. The hurdles are still there. You're still going to have employee issues. You're still going to have operational issues. You still need to have somebody. You're still going to deal with your financials in your business. And I think sometimes prospective franchisees forget that.
Yes.
They forget that they're still. They may possibly think the franchisor is going to take those problems away. And there are some that we do remove off the table, but for the most part, they're all still there. We just have systems and approach and coaching and support to help you manage that. And now it's a little speed bump in the road in the road instead of climbing Mount Kilimanjaro.
Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you again soon with another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising by Franchise Interviews. Take care, everyone.